Hey everyone, what's up? How are you guys doing? I've decided to go again with another small chat before we get started with drawing. Today we're going to do the letter D, so we're drawing 16 types of one letter. But before we do that, again, I want to have an honest conversation with you guys, or let's have a small talk conversation where we talk about your week, how you guys been doing. And I see here G74AM said, like, this week was amazing. I did draw a lot this week and I'm proud of what I did. And so that's really exciting for me. I love to hear that because drawing is something that is very special. Being creative is something that's very important. And I was excited to end off last week. So last Friday night, I had a drawing session with Lauren Hom, she is my podcast co-host. And we've been doing this podcast for half a year. Like, we've created about 25, 26 episodes, and we've gone on a break for a little bit, but it's just been so good to actually catch up with her, being able to talk to her, have some fun, have some time to discuss a lot of topics. And especially right now, so many things have been happening over the last few months and even in the last 2 weeks. And so it's been crazy. So it's been really good to have that talk with her and to see all here. So I see Supernova is here. She's saying she's fasting for a week. It's my second day now, and I can totally relate to that. Well, the most I fasted in my life is 2 days. So for the longest time, I've never been able to fast longer than 24 hours. And then I did it for 2 days, but then I was really done. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I even actually stopped. I didn't do a YouTube live stream because I was fasting that day, and it was just, I was a mess, and it was crazy, but it's good. So Anna Laura, I'm crazy. I feel it's crazy. It's good that you're fasting, that you're taking the time to reflect, to think, and to believe for something to come out of that. So I believe that that's going to be amazing, and going to be praying for you too. And who else we have? We have Cortland Waters saying, I've been in a big creative block the past week or so, but I did go to to a hashtag Say Their Names chalk lettering event on Saturday. That was very good. Oh, that's amazing to hear, Cortland, that you actually taking the time to go, even though you've probably not felt like it. It's a very tough challenge when you're not feeling like it to actually go to an event, to do some work. But I actually also can say that for me, one of the best things is to just do something, not to think about how it will turn out, but just go ahead and just put your pen on paper. One of the things that I did last Friday, for example, is that I just went to a cafe that I've been going on to pretty much every single day since I've been here, or in the last few weeks. And what I've been doing is just to take just pen and paper, like a pencil and a piece of paper, and just start drawing on that. So let me show you. These are some pieces of paper. Like, one of the posts that I created, that I posted today on Instagram, actually was created during this time. So 3 composition tricks, all the information that I have here. This was created here. Then I've been working on some other stuff here. For example, just creating like small composition sketches. Hopefully you can see that really well. But like, you matter, even if you think you don't. You can preach a better sermon with your life than with your lips, which is a absolutely great quote. And probably one of those we could actually draw today if we want to. I'll definitely work on those in the next time. But again, here, a lot of those that I've created, like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Absolutely great quote. I think Noel Chevalier, Noel the artist, drew that. But yeah, so a lot of that, a lot of drawing, a lot of sketching. And so Cortland, if you're in a creative block, one of the videos I can recommend to you is to actually watch the one that I did on creative block, because you could actually get out of that very, very fast and learn so much from that and seeing this. Okay, who else do I see? I see Benoit in here. I see Marina joining in. Lauren says, good morning. I got to meet my new nephew. Haven't been doing much drawing because I was watching my niece and other nephew, but I'm excited to get back into this week. Congratulations on your new nephew. I'm really excited for you. I saw my family just on Tuesday in Germany, my extended family, cousins and their kids. And it's been crazy just to see all of them in one place. So many grand, like those are not nieces and nephews, but I've seen my nephew and my niece as well on that Tuesday. So amazing to see that. Actually, my name is Majid, and you saw my drawing. We met before and we worked together, and you were amazing drawing. Oh, so you were drawing from Jordan Amman. So I see. Now the question is, Majid, did we draw the very first time? Was it in the room where we drew together on the big wall, or was it more of a Arabic lettering at an event that we did? I cannot remember which one it was, but really excited that you are here, that you're joining me online on YouTube, and that we get to draw something together. Wisvesh Warrior is here, excited to be here. So I'm really excited that you guys are here too. Can't wait to get started with drawing and lettering, and just seeing you guys joining in on this lettering journey with me. So today, again, like I said, we're going to draw 16 letters of one letter, 16 types of one letter. So I gotta just prepare myself because I'm gonna give the intro again, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna hopefully get to draw a lot. And so I'm gonna prepare my iPad that I have right here. Again, you can do this on paper on any other device, but let me just get ready and get set up so that we can start this awesome exercise together. If you want to use the free piece of paper, I'm just gonna see if I actually put that link in the description. Yes, it's there. So you'll have the link in the description for a free piece of paper, free sheet paper. Okay, I'm just getting to get my words all together so I can give a really nice intro for the very future video. And I see here, the hardest part about fasting is actually not drinking coffee. That is actually very true. Starting your morning with just a glass of water is not the same, and I can definitely tell you that. All right, let's get into a short time for the intro so we can just say that we're starting soon, and we'll get ready right away. And oh, by the way, I just wrote on my chalk wall that is right behind this camera is online course launch in 15 days. Can you believe it? We're launching a course that we've been working on for the last, I don't know, I think 3-4 months. I've been preparing the course content for way longer than that. That was last year, October. So almost more than a year. We've tweaked, we've worked on it, we've made it better, and I cannot wait to release it very soon. So it's gonna be exciting, and I can't wait for that. So let's get ready, set up. I'm gonna switch up the camera, and then wrong camera, switching here, boom, and we're gonna start in just a few minutes. Hey, what's up, legends? Welcome back to another episode of 16 types of one letter. Today's letter is the letter D. It's one that I missed in my series. So we're going back in time. We're going back through the alphabet to just make sure that we fill every gap. So we have actually come to the letter H, and now we're just returning back to the letter D because that's one letter that I've missed. 16 types of one letter is a brilliant exercise for any creative lettering artist out there who wants to get better, who wants to learn new styles and learn new ways to draw one letter. So this is where we practice and we train our creative mind, our creative muscle to really expand and get stronger. Now, you gotta ask yourself, probably why 16 types or why 16 in especially is actually because if you fold a piece of paper in half, you get 2. If you fold it into one more time, you get 4. Fold it again, you get 8, and then one last time you get 16. So it's very easy to divide a piece of paper into 16. A lot more difficult to do it into 20 or in other numbers that you want to get out of it. So that's why 16, and I realize that 16 is just a perfect amount of letters because you can actually learn so much. The very first ones are just to get into the flow, and you'll hear me repeat that often enough, but whenever you start a creative exercise, the most important thing is to get into the flow, get really acquainted with it, and then start off by just kind of like stepping it up every single time. And by the time you get to 16, you realize that you have exhausted your creative muscles. You have done some reps, some creative reps, because we train our creativity in these exercises. And so I hope that you will learn a lot in this time, that we'll have some fun exploring the letter D in all the shapes and sizes and try to come up with how to do it better. Now, you can download the free drawing sheet. Down in the description, you'll find a link to a free drawing sheet that you can get, that you can print out. You can do that with paper. You can get some pencils and something easy to do. And also, you can do it on the iPad. You can just import the JPEG there. Whatever you feel like doing is best. I'm gonna use the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil because I've just been more used to drawing with that, but also because with the setup that I have here with the camera and everything, it's just a lot easier that way. So I hope you understand, but it shouldn't stop you from using pencil and paper to do that. There's just gonna be some times when I undo things or switch things around. That's not gonna be easy to repeat when you're drawing on paper, but yes. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention is that my online course is launching in just 15 days. So you can actually get to swipe up and maybe get early access to the online course before everyone else does by signing up there. Get a front row seat to our launch parties, maybe even to our pre-launch party if you are in the very first ones. And so I cannot wait to release this one because we've been working 3-4 months on this course, and one of those blocks is one of those classes is going to be about building letters 101. So this is basically what we're doing in this exercise. This is an exercise that I'm going to do in the workshop too, but you'll get all the information, the basics of how you build your letters, how you can come up with all the creativity to create more letters and tweak them around, so you have the knowledge that you need, the creative process to really step up your game and really get good. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into the other view, and here we go. I got the letter. So the very first one is, again, it's all about getting into the flow. So we're not gonna take up too much time. We're gonna do a simple letter here, and I'm using the letter builder as a grid just for me to get started, to do something easy. And I'm just gonna link these two. I'm not gonna go all the way around because I'm gonna stay creative and flexible with the tool that I've created and that you can use too. And you see that the letter builder is perfect because you can draw every letter with just this shape. And so this is why it's perfect, why I love to use it so much, because it's just the best and easiest way to draw a letter consistently, easy. And you see, it took me like less than a few seconds to draw, and that's why it's so easy to get used to using this. So I'm gonna fill this out. I'm gonna use that shape and fill it out. And again, it's all about just easy, get into the flow, drawing, and have fun with it, really. So how is the letter D so different from any other letter? So those are the questions I ask myself, like why does a letter D look like a letter D? How do you recognize a letter D, and what doesn't, like what can you take away until you do not recognize anymore that's a letter D? So here are some things that I feel like are important for the letter D to be recognizable. So number one is, of course, the straight back. But even though if you just drew this, I could recognize this as a letter D. So this is kind of where I feel like you need to start. So the second letter I'm gonna do is a slab serif. Actually, no, I already have like a mono weight. I'm trying to change it up as much as I can. So I'm gonna do a serif style. So we kind of go through all the styles necessary at the beginning, and that we use these all these elements just to get it easy done, so we have kind of like covered all our bases and already have some creativity here. So here I'm going to add some contrast, meaning I'm going to change the weight between the thinnest line and the thickest line and add like more weight to that. So here we go. Just going to fill this out. So that's the arc. That reminds me that like a bow and arrow could be perfect for letter D, like as a visual illustration element. Okay, so here we go. We got two styles of D. We got a serif style D here, and I might even reduce here the styles, so the contrast, get this more strict here, and just rearrange. Again, it's not about perfecting the letter. You can always perfect the letter afterwards, but right now at the beginning is more about just getting it a little bit like a sketch, kind of like getting a lot of ideas. And the more ideas you can implement on this piece of paper, the more you'll have to play around with. So the second one that I want to do is a script D. And so there's a lot of options. And because we have a lot of options, I'm gonna try to find like a classic D. And because I'm not always sure about how to do that, one easy way to do this is to actually go on Pinterest. Or if you're not familiar with Pinterest, you can also just go on Google and type in letter D script. And you type that in and you'll definitely get a lot of images over here. And you can see there's a ton of images. Another thing that I also can reply, like this one here, this looks like a very classic letter D. And so I love this one here. This one looks beautiful, but it absolutely will take a little bit more space because it's really long and like this. But I can use this line here to help myself get guided. And let's see. Just gonna try to implement that as best as I can. And gonna use this line here. And look at that. I just love how this all comes together. And even though it's not perfect, we will be able now to perfect that a tiny little bit by just adding some weight to the right elements. And so one of the things that I've had to learn very early, well, actually I learned it very late than early. I wish I had learned it earlier, is downstrokes are thick. The upstrokes are thin. So kind of like you would start here and you would use your pen, and your pen, the more pressure you add, the pen will get further away. So you kind of have like this calligraphy pen, and the more pressure you add, the more set apart it will get. There we go, we're back. So if we have that, this is kind of like where this will kind of like bend. And so having that knowledge, like kind of what tools you would use, this can be very helpful to launch into how this would look in here. So again, I'll put on the weight and not too much, and let's see again where it will bend. So here we just go up a tiny little bit, and there's some weight on this side here, but not too much. Again, just keeping it a little bit thicker and thinner, and sometimes it's also just making some optical visual adjustments just to get it right where we want it to be. And then here also just a tiny little bit, and I'll get this here to just grow up There we go. That is a script D. So we kind of like have that basis. And now kind of like playing around, like what kind of D could we also do that is also mostly well known. For example, could be a brush, like a brush tip D. So more of, let's see. I can do also Gothic D. If I knew how to do a Gothic D. So it's all about like figuring it out on the go. So the cool thing about Gothic letters, and this is kind of like how you can imagine how it works, is that you have a chisel pen that has this thickness. So let me see if I can find a calligraphy pen somewhere. I feel like this one has it. Yeah. So this is a calligraphy pen. So if I'll be using this on paper, like you'll see, it always will make this line really strict. So, and like that. And if I hold it always straight, like that is the D that I will create. Let's see if I can show you guys this. Exactly. So this is what I'm trying to recreate. And so that's why I need to have like just that imagination that the chisel tip here would be bended that way. So this is very helpful to see. And now I can kind of like, again, fill it out. All right, that is not my best work. I'm a little bit too strict with myself, too perfectionist with myself. But here we go. We're on our way to get better, to learn more. And let's get some pencils in here just for the look of it, just to kind of like add some elements. It's always cool to even like have some pencils out here. This kind of like makes the whole image looks a little bit better. That's kind of like mock-ups, overlay, flat lays. You can maybe even get that here. Then, you know, just for the sakes of it, get some piece of paper over there. And now look, the whole scene already looks a little bit nicer just because we did that. And I'm trying to see where I need to sit in the camera here just to look good. Okay, so now I just need also a little bit of water. Some ASMR for you guys. So Jeremy is asking, where can I get the files? Let me just grab the link in the description. You'll find that in the description is the file type here, and there you go. I just share that with you in the live chat. So let's go for another one. So now that we've done some basic ones, like one of the things that you can do is also just play around with that letter, but I'm also just gonna try to see, again, how much can I change? So one would be a ribbon style. Like, of course, we all have loved the ribbon style. And so we're playing around here. So here I'm doing a little bit different type of D here. And let's see, so downstroke, that will be in the front, more or less. Then through the back, it will go up here and then just bend around again. Maybe a tiny little bit more. So again, all of this is very rough work, and I guess, you know what? We're gonna change this up. We're gonna make a different letter D. We're gonna take basically the idea of here, of this script D, and we're gonna implement it here. So again, just gonna make it a little bit shorter, just like that. We're gonna duplicate it. So what you can do on paper is just draw it pretty much the same way, like that. And then we're just gonna make some small adjustments. So this will be through the back. Maybe this here too. So it's good because that should be in the front. Alright, just like this. And then we can just add, maybe it's just a little bit of shadows to give this whole a nice look. But basically, that way we kind of have like a ribbon styled D, so not too bad. Let's try another one. What else could we try? More of a rounded D, so one, like if we just made it like a shape, like a cartoonish shape perhaps. And so the idea here is just to maybe even add a gradient in here, and nothing too special. But that kind of looks boring. Okay, that looks very boring. We're not gonna do that. Unless we want to introduce some lines in between here. Some parts there, kind of like make a 3D letter, but like still a bit weird looking. I'm going to the next one already, so here we go with a more of a slab serif D. So I'm gonna try to keep the look or the thickness of everything pretty much the same. So keeping it a monoline style, and then I'm just gonna get it out here, and then finally some lines here, and adding like more of an embossed style to all of that. So let's see. That means emboss style is very simple trick. It's actually just adding a inline in here. And the same thing everywhere else. Just make sure that you kind of like split between those two lines and get as much as close as possible to the center of all of it. Then connect all the corners. And that takes a little bit of practice, so don't worry if you don't get it so fast. And then here on, especially on the rounded angles, one of the things is to really just get like the center, which is kind of like here, and then just split up into a nice 45-degree angle. And that can help you to know where to place the shadow. So always choose two sides that will always stay the same. So right side in lower part, that's kind of where I'm going from. So this is the lower side, then this is the left side. So I want the right side, which would be here. You can fill this out. And you can find like different degrees of darkness you want to add. Like right now, I'm just gonna go for 2 degrees. So not very keeping it light. Like you could go a little bit lighter and have a darker parts, especially at the bottom. You can go with 4 different like color in all the sides, especially if you're using colors. That can be fun. Now if you're doing sides like this here, what you can decide on, well, I'm gonna draw in color in all of this here, but it's decide on how you want to use that. So one way, for example, is to go and say like, all right, I'm gonna do it rounded like hard edge, or I'm gonna just keep going, like do a soft version here and soft version there, but really up to you to decide how you want to go ahead with this. So I'm just gonna erase here these parts that are not very necessary, that I've already like split up. But here we go. That is one style, and I can still like add more elements to it. For example, a drop shadow line. And of course, drop shadow line would make sense to have that where the shadow already is, to kind of like boost it. And do the same thing on this side here. And then kind of like let it fade away. Kind of like this. Really up to you. Having some fun, trying it out, seeing how it goes. I see Lucas joining in from Brazil. How are you? Good. How are you? Well, I'm so excited that you are here, that you have joined. And I see that people found the link. That is awesome. So if you're still looking for the link, you'll find that in the description below to this file here. And you'll also find the link for the online course sign up. So if you haven't already signed up for the online course for the front row seats, to just get notified when we're launching and get all the right information right into your inbox, just so you do not have to worry about anything, that you're missing out on anything. You'll be the first to know and be sure that you're having a front row seat. So 4 letters on the top, 3 letters down, so 7, so 9 to go. Still a lot to do, if you ask me, but I'm gonna try to do a really thin letter here. And so I'm just gonna draw, actually I'm just gonna draw the outlines. You know what, I'm gonna actually change it up. I'm gonna go here with a super thick letter. Forget about doing a thin letter. No, I'm going with a thick letter. I'm going to kind of like keep the size of the letter, but I'm gonna inverse the contrast. So not just having the sides thick and thin, but really just the top and the bottom thick and thin. It's kind of like that. And then I'm just gonna get that here to join in. Also, if you're drawing with me, if you're doing this exercise with me, drawing with Stefan, then please let me know on Instagram by just actually taking a picture and posting a story, tagging me in it, and just sharing it with me so I can see all of you guys, because I love to see you guys being creative, because that's really the point and the goal of all of this, is to actually get you guys to create with me. Also for me to get creative, because it's kind of like I need this time, I need to be creative, and doing these live streams actually really helps. Gives me a time to create, to do something, and so this is awesome. And I would love to see you guys do that. So here I'm just trying to add some touches to the letters, kind of like that. So, okay, we got already 8 down. We're halfway there. Feels like it's going really nicely, but smoothly. But let's look at some inspiration. Try to learn some new styles. So I'm going into Pinterest and trying to find some styles of letters, especially if I go to my boards. And let's see if I can find something that really is exciting. For example, here we got one work. This looks like the work of Dana Tanamachi. Beautiful piece here, and I like how she just has like 3 lines in it, so it's absolutely beautiful. So thick lines, a little bit Sarah style, and trying to see, yeah, just a tiny little bit like that, and then because one thing that happens often enough is that I will look at a style and I feel like, oh, you know, it's totally easy, I can do that. And then you realize like, oh, it's actually not as easy as it appears to be. Because there are just some elements that look easy, but again, easy is usually a lot harder. So here, one of the things that I want to do is like liquefy, maybe reduce the size a tiny little bit here. Whoa, not too much. And then just try to get the style as close as I can. That looks pretty good to me. Now just the whole of this looks a little bit kind of like that. I like that. All right. Okay, let's see if we can find another one. Ooh. Let's see. Well, this one is also a 3D letter, but and I feel like I broke Pinterest here. Always good to get a challenge, a really good challenge. Let's see what else we can find. All right, I kind of love this here. So this is kind of like where it gets harder. So when you type on that, and now I broke it again. No. Well, sometimes, let's go back again. Which one was it? Which one was it? It was this one here. Okay, you see kind of like how the D, so if I click on it, maybe I can get a better, so Type Gang is a Instagram page, and this is not available anymore. So what I can do is actually download image, and then I can go to the downloaded images, and then see here, perfect. So it has this crop, like the stem here of the R is a perfect help for me to understand kind of like how I could draw the D, for example, here. And then feels like the weight of the letter is pushed to the top. So that is a great way to see that too. And what I could also perhaps understand is that here it will either go inside like this, or it will just touch inside here. So who knows? Maybe I got it right, maybe I didn't. Did I learn something? Absolutely. Whoops, that was too much. Well, why not? Still not necessary, the one here, but we're experimenting with styles. And here I'm gonna be just adding just a tiny little touches here and there to increase kind of like the style of one type here. I'm just not happy with how this end here looks. So let me try to see if I can fix that. Who knows? Okay, so next up, let's try to find another one. So there's also just a super nice, thin, crisp D that we could do. So that one is really narrow in size. It's like that. Kind of like matchstick thick. Then that doesn't look like much. So what do we do when it doesn't look like much? Maybe less is more. Maybe we have to try that sometimes. Less is more. Just seeing if we can just maybe just add some tiny little elements and details that can really make it stand out, perhaps. Maybe that is just a tiny little bit too much, but again, we're playing around with letters, with styles, and now I can just see what happens if I add some inline in here and try to create more than just the letter. And then perhaps with some illustrations here, with some ornaments. I can take it even to the next level. But for me, that all looked just now too much. But why not? The question is always not why, but why not? Always ask that question. So here, kind of like more ornamental styled D, perhaps way too much, perhaps just a little bit crazy, but hey. So I see Lucas is saying a Speedy D, so I like that. So Speedy D is really one that is strongly inclined, so I'm gonna use these strokes here to do that strongly inclined D. I could also use one of the, so if we go to the letter builder, you also see italics in here. So that is also very useful, but we're going back to that. I'm still gonna use here, not the letter builder, but here my brush, my pencil brush, and let's see. So Speedy D. So Speedy D has a speed on it. It's going really fast, so it's taking up speed. Speedy D. That should be kind of like a name for something. So now we're gonna make some droplets here, some kind of like chocolate, like really thick, heavy, and then still thin, not too thick here. Actually, not too thick at all here. And I'm gonna add a really long, nice drop here at the back. Maybe there's something releasing. So one thing that is very hard to explain is kind of like balance. Balance is something like you kind of want to balance. You don't want to push all these elements together. You don't want to make them all equal, but you want to give it all some space, some elements to it, and you just want to make sure that it looks really nice in the end. So always play around. Do not be in a hurry, rushed, well, except if you're running out of time. But play around with those letters. See how it takes, how it draws, how it fills up the space. And the Speedy D was a great idea. I like to be challenged. Okay, guys, new challenge. You guys tell me what I should draw next. And I see, did I do a bubbly D? A bubbly D. Let's see if I did a bubbly D. I could try that next one. See, you could actually text all your friends and tell them like, hey, you know what? Send me what kind of D I should draw. And they'll probably not even understand what you mean. But that's the fun part of it. It's like, hey, I'm doing this challenge. I'm drawing something, doing something special. And let's see how this turns out. So here you can add some little glow elements. Just make the droplets even more realistic, kind of like light would be hitting here somewhere. And again, the longer you work on that, the better it will look. But so far, I really enjoy this. And the fast D was a great choice. So thank you for the idea, Lucas, for the Speedy D. So let's do a bubbly D. So bubbly D is pretty much I would say like, should we do like a weird bubble LED? this is interesting. But so this is really cool because now you can imagine, like I'm imagining myself, how would it look like if you would be taking a bath and you would see like all these bubbles somewhere, and like that could be the inspiration for that. And so that is a really cool thing, because in the online course, the Building Letters 101 course, I talk about inspiration, gathering inspiration from all around, and how you can do that, like how you can apply all of these things, how you can get inspired from a lot of places, not be stuck creatively, but really find and see things differently. So this is really a cool exercise here, and to show you kind of like what I mean by that, because you can do that too. You can learn that and be really inspired by all of that. So I'm just adding some reflections, you know, kind of like if these were like more than just water bubbles, not water bottles. Something like that. And then here we would have some other elements. A bubbly D. Now the only thing that I could add would be to give it some negative space here, like color in that negative space, just so you would see probably the bubbles a little bit better, the shape of the D a little bit better. At least I hope so. Nah. I'm just gonna hide that again. Going back and forth. Okay, so let's go for the last three elements. So what other ideas did we get? Bubbly D is done. Can't wait to get my iPad next week. Jeremy, I'm really excited for you that you are getting your iPad. This is always exciting to hear. It's gonna be a really good time. You're gonna love it and enjoy it, and hopefully get to create so much with it. What else? Well, how about a D with roses? Ooh. Roses are red, and the rest of the quote goes a long way. Let's see. I need to get some picture of roses. So roses here. Images. Okay, so here we have a rose. Oh, this is a lot more complicated. Let's see if I can actually draw a rose by just trying out some drawing techniques. And then one thing you would probably have to do is kind of like create those shadows inside just to make that look more realistic. Cool thing about flowers is they're organic, so usually the shape is very arbitrary, so you can kind of like draw some lines, and the goal is at the end that you could just recognize the shapes and then maybe have some petals here and there to just give that a little go. Maybe add a little tiny rose here. And then some more petals. Here and there. Fill out that shape. Actually, I'm starting to like this. Challenge accepted. Very good challenge. Yeah, I think that is a rose petaled D, and then we can just add some kind of lines here. But there we go. What do you think? Ba-da-dum. We're going down. What else do we have? Avant-garde D. What is it? Oh, I need to look that up first. Avant-garde. Oh, that looks more like a normal style. Like, that's not very special D for me. Can you do a D in Art Nouveau? Art Nouveau. So Art Nouveau. Yeah, it doesn't. Like maybe this here, but I'm not sure that it's so special. I can try, see, but I'm not a very big fan of the style. So here, this one probably looks a little bit more like it. So it's copying it, but it's, again, I'm not a big fan of it, of the style, which kind of makes it like harder to make something really nice out of it that I would really enjoy. So there's some letters that I like about the Art Nouveau style, kind of like the small cap A that I see here. But all the other letters are just like specially disformed. That I feel like it's not disformed in a nice way, which is what is bothering me as a lettering artist. And maybe there's all other styles of drawing here. But here we go. That is more or less a Art Nouveau style D. Again, for me, I feel very odd. But hey, we're here about trying new things and giving it all a go. So last up, for the last D, let's see if we can find again some inspiration, something that will trigger our mind, our inspiration, and see if we can find something that is really nice and beautiful. And for example, just this D here, also Dana Tanamachi, beautiful design here, and I love this. It's a Gothic style D, has an inline inside of it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely, for me, I just love the look of it. And it's a small cap D, however, and I'm just gonna try to recreate it as best as I can. maybe have to reduce the size a tiny little bit here. So I was just thinking about, like, this could be a pen actually. You could, like, you remember this pen that I used at the beginning to draw this small d here? So you could actually use this here, cut out just a tiny little bit of this in the middle, and so you could have like an inline, an actual inline to draw these letters here. At least that would be my guess to how you could do that in real life. But I love her style here. It's just so, it's simple but elegant, it's beautiful, but yet clear and just nice. It's actually really nice to see that. And probably extremely hard to copy that and do it really well. I probably love to add just too much details to do all of this thing, but pretty much enjoy this so far. And then another thing is also seeing if we can just add some nice touches to it. Get some more detail here. She added the outlines out there. I like that she actually just made 2 lines. Very simple. And then also just added some flourishes here. Love it. All right, that is 16 types of D. So we just got around drawing 16 different versions of one single letter. We started off again here, just by recapping the whole thing. We started off with a script, a sans serif, monotype, monoline letter. I'm just gonna get my thoughts straight here. Sans serif, mono weight letter, so same thickness all around, just simple, just to get into the flow. We went on then with the script, the serif style D, so adding some contrast. Then we actually jumped number 3 to just get here over here, so we had more space with a script styled D. So we would cover all our bases with the 3 most popular styles, so sans serif, serifs, and script, but then added black letters because black letters just also belongs to there. We didn't add much to it, to the letter. We kept it kind of like simple as is. We just filled it out. You can, of course, again, go in here and start erasing in some parts, kind of like adding some styles to it, adding some inlines, do a lot to it. Like you could add like multiple inlines. You could cut it up into different sections, whatever you want to do. There's a lot you could do, but we kept on going. We went on to the fifth letter D, which is fifth style of a letter D, which is the ribbon style D. Played around a couple of different versions. Went on to a more funky, fresh form of 3D styled D. An embossed D with just a shadow, drop shadow line. Then an inverse contrast D, so putting the weight on top and the bottom, but still adding some glow to it on the top and here as well, just where the light would shine in from. Then we started looking up some inspiration, and here, again, I picked up a lot of inspiration from Dana Tanamachi. This one here was so simple, but still it's hard. Like on a big scale, I don't feel like it looks that great. I still could use a lot more work. And again, simplicity is hard to achieve, but again, it's great to try it out, to work on it as best as you can. Then here, more of a scriptive, rounded letter D, but still with some nice crispy edges to it. And then a really thin matchstick, thin line D, but still adding a lot of details like ornaments and flourishes. The Speedy D, which was suggested by Lucas, by one of you guys, which is absolutely an amazing idea for a letter D. And again, all the droplets, playing around with the spacing of the composition, where the droplets have to flow, how does it look, is there a droplet like going out here, adding the glow so you can just see all those droplets a little bit better. The bubbly D, still feel hard to really see that it's a D. It could be also an O. Then the roses D is probably, of all of the ones that I created today, is one of my favorites. Absolutely great suggestion here. If you'd add some red, you pretty much would get it out. So you could just go in and just give this a red look by just coloring in here those roses. Roses are red and giving it some details. But again, you could see it a lot more clear now. And just doing that already brings this whole thing a little bit further, elevates the whole thing. But I kind of like it also as is. And hopefully people would see it, even though they don't know it, that it's roses. Then we had a Art Nouveau style D, trying other styles of lettering, like even other centuries, eras, where you've tried some like decades of styles. Like you see our taste has changed over the years, but you would still see that style of lettering a lot on a bakery, patisserie, especially in France. It's very still popular. And then finally ended off with a Gothic style D, black letter D, from also inspired by Dana Tanamachi Studios. Really beautiful. So here we have it. We got 16 different types of one letter. Again, thank you so much for being around, and glad that you have been spending this time. Hopefully you got creative. Please share a picture of your setup. If you're watching this on your screen or your iPad or on your bed, wherever you are, share a screenshot or just a picture of what you've been doing, working on. Let me know that. And also glad that you are expanding, filling up your whole series of letters. And if you haven't heard already, you can also sign up for the online course by just tapping on the link below in the description, making sure that you get a front row seat to the pre-launch of this course, that you are the very first person to get access to these courses and to learn all about lettering, how to come up with all these different types of letters, how you can imagine you get more inspiration, understand how letters work, how you can dissect them, and then actually be able to rebuild them, create, and always add one more step, like the little tiny details, one thing that I love to do. So that's my creative process in that class, Building Letters 101. That's where I teach this. And you also get access, to the composition masterclass. So if you want to know all more about it, please use the link in the description below and sign up to get a front row seat, to get all the information, so you can sit back, wait it for your inbox to come in, kind of like your post office, the mail that just comes into your inbox. It will just be there whenever it's coming, and you will not miss it. You do not have to go to the post office and ask for it, is it here or not. Also, big thank you and shout out to all my Patreons that are joining me here. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and being a big part of it. I'm really excited. Oh yeah, by the way, let's see if I can just share with you one picture of how the Building Letters 101 looks like, the thumbnail. So this here is the thumbnail for Building Letters 101. So this is the course where you learn all about letters. Just wanted to show you that. And yeah, left to say that I'm excited for the very next live stream. Please let me know in the comments below what you want me to see me do next. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, leave a like on the video below, and I hope to see you very, very soon, guys. So thank you so much for watching, being here, and hope to see you guys very, very soon. Bye.